Hi, welcome to Sibling Scribbles.
For our listening audience, Marin just meticulously put on chapstick.
It's lip gloss, actually.
Lip gloss.
It's Ulta Beauty Jelly Gloss Lip Gel, Brilliant Alaveza and Gel. I'm pretty sure that second part was in Spanish.
I'm pretty sure it is, yeah. I've never known the difference between lip gloss and lip gel, the chapstick.
Sparkles.
Oh.
Plus, it's kind of tacky. Not like it's like, oh, like that's so tacky. It's
like it physically is tacky. Interesting. Huh.
Can you tell?
Give us some ASMR, Marin. I'll turn up your gain really quick, just for 5 seconds. Yep, and I will never do that again. I was wearing headphones while that happened.
Those were all the sounds of the Ulta Beauty Jelly Gloss.
Do not plug them again. Stop plugging Ulta Beauty. Stinking hand thing. Welcome to Sibling Scribbles. My name is Johnny.
My name is Marin, and today we are going to be talking about Animal Crossing, the video game. And
I just realized that me wearing gray, I'm just going to disappear into the background. It's just horrible. Animal Crossing, the video game, is not a storytelling game.
No, not at all.
So why are we talking about this?
We're talking about it today because it's a wonderful game. And when we made our spreadsheet for things that we should talk about, this was one of the only video games I've played and loved. So.
Well, it's a good thing I'm good at spinning.
So the thing is about Animal Crossing, though, is even though there isn't any story, I feel like the people who play it think there is one.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just wander around and live a day in the life story. So
cozy games have done that. I mean, games like Stardew Valley have like really leaned into the story, right? There's actual like stories for all the different characters.
Yeah.
But games like Animal Crossing and Sims, it isn't quite as like story driven, you know? And I've never liked those games. I played Animal Crossing a ton. We had it on the DS and then on the Wii. And I played those two to death, and they were great. Animal Crossing, like Haley and I played it when we were dating on the 3DS. We got it during 2020 on the Switch. Like, it's been a big part of my life.
We played it growing up on the Wii. So good.
I said that, yeah.
And the DS.
That's such a good point, Marin. Hey, Marin, did I play it when we were dating? When I was dating Haley?
Perhaps. As I wasn't dating Haley, I don't know.
It's a shame. She's still a lot of fun to date.
Yeah, I'm sure. I played it on the Switch, the New Horizons, which is a really good game as well. They have all of these characters. I think something that Animal Crossing does well is write characters, which sounds maybe kind of dumb because all of the characters are very stereotyped characters.
Yeah, they're super one note.
Like
they're very one dimensional.
Right, they're complete one dimensional characters. Because none of them are really like you can build a relationship with like other things, except for Brewster.
Yes.
And
yes.
Sable.
Yep.
So
in Animal Crossing, for those who don't know, you are a human person.
Yep.
And you move into some town or an island, and then little animal villager people will move into your town and they become your friends. Marin is gonna put a little picture there that she did, a little fan art of all the NPC characters, all the playing D&D together. They're playing D&D. And everyone has kind of some stock lines, right?
Right.
You can only talk to these people so many times. Most of the programming did not go into the dialogue and the storytelling. So most of these characters that you meet, you can't really like. There's nothing changes the better friends you get with them, right? The most that changes really is that if you're not friends with them, they might move away.
Right. If you bully them, like they will become sad. If you give them gifts and send them mail and like send them like apples with your mail and stuff, like they'll send you cool stuff back.
Right.
And they'll like invite you to your birthday party and stuff. Yeah,
it's super cute. And we'll get to the few characters who are exceptions to that.
Right.
But for the most part, all these characters have, you pulled it up here, they have these like really basic personalities.
And there's only 8. It's lazy, jock, cranky, smug, and then there's normal, peppy, snooty, and big sister.
The smug and big sister personalities are introduced newly for the...
That's amazing. So, John, if we used only these personalities, could we break down every single character that has ever
No, you
created?
couldn't. No, you
I
could
think
not.
so.
Okay, all right. Wise guy. I almost said like the Scarlet Pimpernel, but then I was like smug. That's smug and probably jock. Let's see. The jock characters are the fun ones. All they talk about is like pumping iron and like going to the gym.
Yeah,
Jock ones are fun.
And they all give they give you like a nickname, right? They have like their default nickname, and then the more you talk to them and the longer they've been on your island, they'll be like, hey, is there something you want me to call you?
Right.
And then you're like, how about this? And they're like, no, mine's better. Sometimes they'll call you by that. But I think if we were to...
Oh, but hang on. Lazy, jock, cranky, and smug are male personalities, and then female personalities are normal, peppy, snooty, and big sister.
Females can only fall into those four.
It's only 4 types of women.
Normal. What does normal mean?
Is normal, and how is normal different from big sister, right?
I need to know.
We're not diving into the Animal Crossing wiki Nookipedia. We're not diving into Nookipedia right now.
All right, go ahead. You can talk about what you're going to talk about.
The reason this works so well, in my opinion, is that the few aspects of the relationship that you can customize, right? Where you give them a nickname, or like you can send them gifts and they send you kind of themed gifts back. It feels, it feels personalized enough. And because the game is kind of meant to be a slice of life game, it makes sense that these animal villager people are just busy living their own life, right? In a way, it's a very economic way of storytelling or of character writing, where the idea of, maybe they don't want to talk to you all the time is kind of realistic, right? Like, could you imagine like having a neighbor who just like drops by every 15 minutes because they want to unlock more dialogue tree options, right? Like, no, I'm going to call you J-Town and you're going to go home.
Go sell your apples.
Go sell apples.
Here, take this wardrobe. Leave me in peace.
How about a rug? I was just gonna give you.
That's nice. That seems nice.
I'm just gonna give you a whole rug.
I'm gonna go back to my sitting in the grass.
I'm just gonna chase bugs around for a while. That's my day. So those characters.
If those were the options, it was like either talk to your nosy neighbor or enjoy the island that you live on.
I think I know what I'm doing. But there are a few exceptions. There are characters that exist in every single game, right? And these are
the NPCs, not the villagers.
Not the villagers, but these are the characters who they run the town, right? These are the shop owner, the mayor's assistant, the town guards, the
captain of the boat. There's like special characters that only come around every now and then, right? And they sell specialty items.
And those characters also are a bit one note, but they have unique voices, right? They have very like Red.
They don't fall in the same personality traits.
Right. Red the fox is very different from Tom Nook the raccoon. My favorite character.
They're foils in a way.
No, they're capitalists and anarchists. That joke is only funny if you know who they are. but my favorite character is KK Slider. KK Slider is a dog who comes by. He hangs out at the coffee shop, and once a week
Saturday
nights he will show up and he will play song requests. And we had this guidebook, and you could go down a list of songs that he would play, and if you recommended them, then he would play that unique song, and then he would give you like a CD or like a vinyl of it, and you could go back to your house and you could play those songs that he
If you
sung for
had
you.
a radio, if you had a
Right. I had a
monogram,
that's not what that is.
monophone,
Gramophone.
mono,
I have mono.
grandma.
Oh man, our camera died, and
I can sit more comfortably.
and we apologize for that. Yeah, no, I can man spread now.
Slouch.
I can man spread now.
I can man spread. I don't know why I said it slowly.
Man spread.
Spread.
I liked KK Slider because that was a really cool mechanic.
Yeah.
And it was kind of fun to time travel and try to get all the songs.
Right.
Time traveling by changing the date on the DS.
Yes.
So he was my favorite character, except for the ones we're about to talk about, because these two are the best. Right. The two whose relationships do change with you.
Oh, yes. The first one is...
Look, I was clearly setting that up for you.
I don't know. The first one... oh, hosh. Tish tosh. The first one is Brewster, who is this pigeon who runs a coffee shop. And when you first meet him, he doesn't say anything. But as you come back and you visit him, you can only really do it like once a day. He starts like giving you coffee. Mm-hmm. And
right.
Then after that, you can like, he'll chat with you and kind of have little conversations, and you know, he'll be like, "Oh, thanks for coming by. You're awesome."
Yeah. And then at some point he starts like adding in like cool ingredients to your drinks, right?
Right.
Brewster is easily one of my favorite characters, just because the Roost, which is his coffee shop where the KK Slider plays, right? KK Slider comes and he plays his guitar at this coffee shop. The music is fantastic, first of all, right? Everything about the right? That music makes me super nostalgic. But also it feels like a place that you, because of this like slowly progressing relationship, right? This character kind of coming out of the shell with you.
Right.
It feels more like homey, you know, it feels kind of special. It feels very comfortable to be in the Roost.
One thing that's very interesting, actually, that just kind of popped into my head is that the reason that I think girls like Animal Crossing more than guys typically do is because girls value relationships a lot more than guys do. And even though you don't necessarily like grow, like the characters don't grow with like towards you, like in a way you reacting with these characters and you wanting to like take care of them in the island and stuff like that, you kind of foster those relationships.
Yeah.
So it makes me like wonder if...
Go ahead. No, just to take your time.
It makes me wonder if you can have a story that just has good characters, but nothing actually happens.
Ooh.
And if there are people who would just latch onto that because they're like, hey, I like these characters. Even if nothing happens at all. Like My Neighbor Totoro. Nothing actually happens.
Not really. Not for a bit, right?
Yeah, not until like the last 10 minutes of the movie.
Right, yeah. Huh. Slice of life is really interesting, right? Slice of life is something that I try to include stuff like that in some of my stories, right? I really like those aspects of storytelling where it is comfortable and cozy, but also like so low stakes that it's barely a story sometimes. I kind of love it. It is... I don't know. It's a little hard to pin down.
Right. Because like when you first meet these characters, you're like, okay, I've got a dog next door and he's calling me Champ. So I don't know what to do with that. Right. But, you know, eventually, like you're trying to like match outfits with him because you're like, oh man, I love this guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Were we having parasocial relationships with the animal villagers?
It's not just about buying clothes and furniture and, you know, fishing and stuff. But I wonder if that's just because it's an interactive. If it wouldn't be able to work in just a visual or a
written medium. I kind of agree. I think that because you are investing in the town, and because, especially like in a game like New Leaf, right, where there is a lot of like visual growth in the town with like the tree and stuff, or with New Horizons, where you're building the island up itself, right? You can change the terrain of it and everything. I think that you do end up kind of taking ownership of that place. Terrytown. Oh, you haven't played Breath of the Wild. You haven't played Breath of the Wild. So I'm not going to spoil it for you. But there's a place in Breath of the Wild where you do feel like...
I've played chunks of it. It's just... There's just a lot of game. And the camel is so hard.
The camel's the hardest one.
The camel's so hard.
Don't start with the camel.
I did it second. It's so hard.
Don't start. No, the camel's the last one you do. Don't start with the camel.
My little fingers can't press the buttons fast enough.
There is a quest line in Breath of the Wild where there's a town that you can help build up, and it's my favorite quest line in the whole game because you genuinely feel like you had an impact on these characters' lives. Great friggin' quest line. I'm not gonna go too deep into it, but
what about Earthbound, the Mother games? Because there is kind of stuff that you do, but really you do just show up to these towns and there are these wacko characters that you just go interact with.
Earthbound is a pretty good example. I feel like it's not quite slice of life, but Earthbound, and I think Undertale, because it's an Earthbound, it's inspired by Earthbound. I think that you can get away with one-dimensional characters because of the humor, right? I think that the wacko characters, right, the Apple Kid and the fat boy, yeah, right. These characters are hilarious, right? Just for the short time that you meet them, and so there's actually kind of a novelty to one-note characters,
right?
And so in Animal Crossing, because you are building up the town, and because there are ways to interact with these characters beyond just like a few lines of text. It feels a little different from maybe a large RPG where there's just so much to do that like the 3 lines of text that you get from any character is just like a setup and a punchline. And so like the setup and a punchline works because there's so much more to the game that you can be like, oh, that was funny. And then you can walk to the next character who's another stand-up comedian. But in Animal Crossing, you are spending so much time with these characters that you end up, I feel like, kind of imagining a relationship with them, right? Even if they aren't changing, right? The one-note character only works if they are there very, very briefly, or if there's some way for you to interact with the world around them. Another game that does this is Fire Emblem.
That one is a different aspect, though, because there is a goal and there is kind of a storyline happening, and the relationship you have with the characters changes.
Right. It can. But the characters are still extremely one note, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
The few characters that aren't one note are everybody's favorites.
Right.
I
just want the listening audience to know that I have only played Fire Emblem one time. And it was to marry Crom, and then
marry the blue-haired prince voiced by Matt Mercer.
Yep. And then I closed the 3DS and I said, that was a good time. I played it like the dating sim it should be.
You're not entirely wrong.
I would hand it to John on the
hard level.
On every single battle, and I was like, now you fight them.
I was kind of
I'm gonna go date Crom. I love him.
Crom is the best. Crom is so great. I like playing Crom in Smash Bros. Crom is really, really fun to play in Smash Bros.
You can't believe, listening audience, the joy I felt. Don't tell Thompson.
Okay. But it's funny you say that, because Crom is like a Boy Scout good boy prince character, oldest son. kind of your type, right? Like very much your type. Sporty, right? Like
I don't consider sword fighting sporty, but I mean, you have a point. Athletic.
I love sword fighting.
Wears capes.
From a family dynasty, right? Like Crom is kind of your type. The other character from Animal Crossing that we haven't talked about yet, whose relationship changes the more time you spend with her, is Mabel.
Is it Sable?
Sable. No, you're right. Mabel is the red porcupine.
No, she's the purple porcupine. Blue. She's blue. And then Sable is red.
Right. Sable's relationship with you doesn't change.
Quick fact check really quickly.
Jamie, pull that up for me. For those who don't know, Jamie is the fact checker on the Joe Rogan podcast. Mabel is the blue one. Okay. I got the colors mixed up. Mabel owns a dress shop, right? She owns a clothing shop. And so you can go to Mabel's store, and she's this blue porcupine, and her relationship with you does not change. She just runs the store, and
she's a sales lady.
And she's a sales lady, and she's very proud of her store. But she has a sister named Sable, who is a red porcupine, and she's very, very shy. And she sits in the back of the store.
And she's the one who's sewing all the clothes.
And she's the one who sews all the clothes that are made. And I think when you go and talk to her, you can design clothes, right? She's the kind of NPC that you talk to that you can use that mechanic for designing clothes. But with Sable, you can, the more that you, at first when you start talking to her, once again, like Brewster, she
says nothing, and then her sister interrupts from across the store.
Right. That's always the joke. The joke is that like Sable will like mutter something, and then Mabel will be like, "Oh yeah, that's just Sable. Sable's just saying this." Right. And so Sable just kind of puts her head down and keeps sewing. She was my favorite character.
John had a crush on her.
I'm not saying I had a crush on her.
He literally married Sable in real life.
And my red-haired crocheting
short wife. Literally married her.
Literally married Sable, yeah.
All right, we all have types here.
We all have a type.
I don't want to hear it about Crom.
We all have.
So awesome. Okay?
Crom is the best. Crom is so great. Crom is a fantastic character.
I want to hear it. Sable Marrier.
Sable Marrier. She was my favorite character. I love designing outfits and clothing, and I just, the more that you talk to her, the more she opens up until she's like talking just as much as her sister is, right? Talking so much. I don't even think that at one point Mabel stops interrupting her. And it was just nice. It was just kind of cool that I got, like, there was a character whose relationship built the more that I, like, you know, designed really crappy flags and t-shirts. And it was fun. And once again, this is a very
her thing is like if you talk to her enough, she'll open up the sewing machine, so that lets you scan QR codes for patterns. So
that must have been in later games. That must have been in later games.
Yeah,
that's cool.
It's very cool. She's wonderful. But it's interesting that because the fandom loves Sable. Do not look up Google images of her. Just
don't Google image Crom either, actually. While we're at it, the Fire Emblem community needs to calm down.
Yeah, fandoms are scary. Everyone needs to just love the characters for who they are and how they were originally designed and not any other way, please. But I really think that it's sweet that people have attached themselves to characters like Brewster and to Sable so quickly, so easily. The moment they find out that they can become friends with them, they try, which kind of is nice, like human nature wise.
Yeah, it's these. Whenever someone says like video games make people violent, Animal Crossing is like the go-to. Like, no, it doesn't.
It's like you can hit your neighbors with shovels.
And with what's it called, the bug net.
The bug net.
The bug net.
But they'll move out.
Yeah, they'll just leave you alone. Like, you're a jerk. I don't want to spend time with you.
They say that.
Yeah, they
They'll
actually
turn around
do.
And they'll, like, depending on their personality, they'll be like, "Oh, did I do something wrong? Like, what happened?"
In the old school, have you seen the old school Animal Crossing game?
Yeah.
On the GameCube, they're like, "Man, you're a jerk. This town sucks. You're the worst. I'm
Yeah.
out of here." Like, they just
and
say
they
it.
leave.
Yeah.
But honestly, if anyone hit me one time with something, I'd be like, "What the?"
I call it cops.
Yeah, assault.
Assault. But it's very, very sweet that the games kind of reward the extra effort, right? These games kind of reward the extra effort for you being their friends. And I think that in video games, at least, right? In video games, you can do that. You can take someone who's one-dimensional, and you can take someone with not a ton of depth, and their relationship it can grow with you. And it can work just as well as a sporty character having a few funny lines, right?
Right.
One-dimensional isn't always bad,
No.
but it's a tool that people it's sometimes used as an insult, like that character's one-dimensional. But it's a tool that you can have in your arsenal.
Yeah. Especially because people love these characters. Like, really, really love them. And when I see certain characters that I had in my village growing up,
Yeah.
you're like, "Oh my gosh, we have so many memories together. You are just data. Like, you are just
lines of code.
but I like you all the same." So I wonder if it's like that in non-video game situations.
I think video games have the benefit of being interactive, like you said before.
Right.
But I think that
Because, like, there's a lot of animes where there's really nothing happening. And the characters
at Dragon Ball Z,
at One Piece, actually, there's too much happening.
there's a little too much happening in One Piece.
Cringe.
The difference is that with these other stories, you are a passive observer. You're not actually a part of that world. When I said, like, do you have the relationship? What's it called? Parasocial. Having a parasocial relationship with like Monkey D. Luffy from One Piece. It's like, I know that's not how you pronounce his name. I don't care. Monkey D. Luffy is a character that exists whether or not you observe him. But in a way, in video games, these towns and these people exist and thrive because of you. And so it doesn't
Right.
feel like a parasocial relationship.
Because you can seek them out
Yeah.
and spend more time with them and give them more letters. Like, I have sent letters to, characters being like, "Thank you so much for moving into my village. You were so wonderful." The other day I'm like writing out a letter to this non-existent character.
Imagine if we treated humans like this, like real people.
Gosh. I mean, we kind of do. But also we don't see, them every single day all the time.
Right.
So we don't live on an island where your goal is to only catch fish to earn money to buy clothing.
You should look up Hello Kitty Island Adventure. It is Animal Crossing. It is exactly Animal Crossing, except with like real mini games and cooking mechanics and everything.
Hello Kitty Animal Crossing is the first thing that shows up.
No, Hello Kitty Island Adventure.
Hello Kitty.
Oh, would you look at that? We're out of time. The difference is, right, like is that you feel like you've invested in these people and you help them grow.
Oh my gosh, it's literally Animal
It's
Crossing.
literally Animal Crossing.
That character
Is in Animal Crossing?
Yeah.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Do you play as Hello Kitty or do you play as a customizable character?
Customizable character, completely customizable.
How much is this?
Thank you for listening to Sibling Scribbles. My name is Johnny.
Oh, and I'm Marin, I guess.
I guess.
I'm the Hello Kitty Island Adventure.
You can find us on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify. We're on Podbean. You can look at our comic at shepherdcalledbales.com. And you can catch us next time.
Stay creative.